Yeah, look, third day in a row in pads, so I thought, practice was a little bit chippy today, which, isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think our guys are competing, and I think the execution, overall was as good as we needed it to be today, but, that's kind of to be expected a little bit throughout training camp. You're going to have some of these days, and so how do we respond? We'll have a day off tomorrow. How do we respond and come back and have a good practice on Friday? I still think we got some things accomplished. I just don't think it was quite as clean as what I would have liked for it to be today. But look, we'll go back and look at the tape and see what it ultimately looked like.
Hey Dennis, at what point do you have to have a conversation with the players about focus more on getting the work done versus all the pushing?
Yeah, well, I think that's a constant conversation that needs to be had. And look, we're in training camp. I don't know that I've ever been in a training camp where there's not some of that goes on. And in particular, when you've had 3 straight days, padded practices, hitting against the same people, and so there's some of that's to be expected. And obviously we can't let it get escalated because you can't do that in the game. And so I think that's just a constant thing that we're talking about and discussing. And look, I think relative to a lot of places I've been, we've been pretty clean in that area. So we'll keep working at it.
Is that what kind of prompted the sprints before the last set? It's obviously a little unusual.
No. We've incorporated a little bit more of what I'm calling the developmental period. So there's only so many reps that go, in training camp. A lot of those reps are going to the 1s and the 2s. And so some of the guys are on the 3s, aren't quite getting as many reps. And so this is an opportunity at the end of practice for them to get, 10 to 12 good, solid reps. And develop some of these young players. I think that's, the business that we're in. And so it's something that, we're trying to incorporate this year. We'll see how many times we can do it, how much we can get out of it. Numbers and people available will obviously, make it, a little bit more difficult at times to be able to do that. But it's an opportunity for some of the, young guys or even some of the veteran guys that aren't, working with the first and second group, a chance for those guys to get a few more reps.